So I want to tell you a story of how CarrierSearcher works from a shipper's perspective. A couple of years ago, I had a shipper that we did not do business with on the brokerage side, but I had called on them and had explained to them about CarrierSearcher. They decided that they wanted to do a demo with me. So we did a demo. What I did was to call them and ask them to tell me a lane that they were having a problem with. So this particular shipper was in the food processing business, and they had a lane that was moving out of a suburb of Minneapolis, St. Paul that was going to Los Angeles, California. And they had struggled with it from a service standpoint. So we went in, we put our zip codes in, we looked for it was refrigerated equipment, we looked for that, and lo and behold, it was the second carrier on the list that was 4 miles from the co-packer that was producing the product for them. They had never heard of the carrier because the carrier had never called on them. The carrier probably had no idea that this particular shipper was producing a product 4 miles from their terminal yard. But that's why CarrierSearcher works. It puts those two kinds of people together. So what we did is we looked at Safer. We found out that the carrier had excellent out-of-service percentages in terms of the drivers and their equipment, that they were a satisfactory DOT, and that their web address was listed in CarrierSearcher. So we went to their website, and once we got to their website, we could view their equipment, we could see their staff, we could learn how long they were in business. We learned a lot about that carrier without ever having spoken to them. So the next thing we did was we said, shipper, you should call these guys. You should call this carrier and you should talk to them. Well, that's not normal. Shippers don't call carriers. But this particular shipper did. And they called the carrier and they talked to him and said, we've got refrigerated product that loads 4 miles from your terminal. It goes to Los Angeles, and we'd like to talk to you about the possibility of servicing that lane for us. You still have to talk with the carrier. You still have to negotiate a rate. The carrier still has to want to do what you have available to do. They've got to have capacity. But our experience has been that generally they do. There's a lot of people that once you start a conversation, you know, it takes a path and it ends up working. In this case, it did work. That food processor began using that particular carrier, and as I said, that was nearly 2 years ago. They're still using them today, and that carrier is handling that lane for them with an above average service level. So that's one of the ways that CarrierSearcher works specifically from a shipper's perspective.